that. Hi, there we go. Up and running, ready to go. How are you this fine afternoon? It's Wednesday. It's Hump Day, and we almost got over the hump on this nonsense yesterday. Oh boy, oh man. Um, I have to say, I need a momentary break before we go into this. Pick this up. So I think we need to revisit some old friends. Uh, Zirconia and Silt are back at mikecoffee.org on the on their show at Frank Clip / Lindell TV / Frank Speech, which is the same thing. Is anybody bothered at all by the fact that Frank Speech and Lindell TV are just the same fucking website? Look the same, got the same shows, same everything, just same thing in two different places. So I'm starting to think that the difference between the king size and the regular pillows over there are the exact same size. I'm not buying it. Thank you, Trey, for getting subscribed, and don't forget, welcome to the show. Like and subscribe, support the show in any way you can. Super chat away today. It's we're halfway through the week, and I know we're behind. So yeah. I'm interested. This is the title of this one's interesting, and we're big fans of when the right goes after their own. Rare exception, I think, being Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney these days. More Kinzinger than Liz Cheney. I mean, but then again, I'm sorry, I'm not one of these people who believes that the sins of the father are passed on to the children in some sort of inverted monarchical biblical bullshit. You are responsible for your sins, and if your kids differ from you in whatever degree that they believe is important, that's up to them, and they will be judged on that. So, sorry, my volume is low. I will fix that. Hold on, tickety tick. How's that? Is that a little better? Am I a little more voluminous? How's that? All right, come on now. Okay, there we go. Is that better? Let me see, and it also, let me tilt it up. Right at my face. Okay. I'm worried that sometimes I get a little carried away and then my volume goes up and then it's too much. All right, here we go. But Kinzinger made a pretty cringe tweet earlier. He does that all the time. I mean, he's not a Democrat. I'm again, on the scale of people, you have to understand, from good to bad, Manchin is on the good side of Cheney and Kinzinger. Just keep that in mind. All right. Her hair looks like Trump's hair. She does that on purpose. That's not an accident. Okay, here we go. I'm curious. The title of this video, and it's very short, Adam Kinzinger is either telling lies or withholding information. So he is either lying or lying through omission. And I don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and neither do you, so let's find out. Okay. They're going to do a burger on the grill, so she's very, very excited. I don't know if this is previous part of the story. We don't know. And I don't need to know. Oh, wait. Hold on one second. I've got to back this up. The audio's off. It's very quiet on there. Hold on. That's turned all the way up. Here we go.
So I had already said, okay, we're going to do a burger on the grill. So I was very, very excited.
She was already there. She's going to do a burger on the grill. Very excited.
Yeah. About Saturday.
Yeah.
And then I get up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no.
And
nothing gets me down.
Adam, what's his last name?
Adam Kinzinger.
Adam, what's his last name?
Adam Kinzinger.
Crybaby.
Close enough.
Kinzinger. Yes.
Had this long thread in our verified, and he called us names. Now, I don't want to just stay on Adam.
Oh, right. They had a back and forth. I forgot about this. I sometimes when you forget to give a shit, and they basically, they tried to do the thing that they always complain that the left does, which is, play the race card or something like that, because if anybody criticizes you, they call you a racist. Yada. They did the same thing with him. Yeah. Yes, this was it. It's sad we live in a country where two black women can't ask questions without a white man demonizing them. Adam Kinzinger, you should be ashamed of yourself. And then this is the video. This is the video reference. Diamond Silk call out Adam Kinzinger for trying to discredit their question. Audio only. Wah, wah. It's on getter. What question would that be? Is there another place in it? Tell Diamond Silk quit playing victim. Okay. What is the? Is it an audio? Here you go. There's some sort of.
Come on in, everybody. If you're on Getter, come on in.
I'm not coming on. This is an hour long. The fuck? What's the question?
Get everything you need.
Because I don't want to.
By the way, the chat replay is off the hook. This was lit. They had 10,000 views later though, and anyway.
Good afternoon.
10,000 views, 364 thumbs up.
That cause some type of critical thinking or think about certain things, and they don't want those questions out there because they only want their own negative narrative.
That's right. What's the narrative? That's right.
And when I post stuff and when I say and I call out these white men that's doing this, it's not that I'm playing victim. It's not that I'm playing the race card. This is what's happening in our country. And I'm not going to act like I'm oblivious or like this is not happening. It is happening.
It is happening.
Because they feel like black people, you need to be acting like sluts and hoes.
Right.
But when you start critically thinking, using your own brain, that's the problem.
Huh? Who does? I'm again, she is complaining about Adam Kinzinger's question about what?
Right. And I said after the 2020 election, everybody gonna get called out. Adams, he could have said whatever he wanted to without calling us names. And what it seems like he's trying to do is discredit us, make us look like we're liars, and then calling us grifters. But how much have this mofo made?
That's right.
Getting his kickbacks and his patty whacks.
His kickbacks and his I don't know. I don't know what the going rate for a patty whack is these days. You're gonna have to ask Matt Gaetz. That said, apparently, let's see. So have an opinion. So does kids. Neither of them were there. What? I don't even know what the fuck. Oh, okay. So this starts off thread. Let's talk about this. Diamond and Silk, oh my God, are implying that. Oh, this is the story we covered a while back. The guy like trying to open, and they're saying there's a magnetic lock, and then he looks up here, and somebody opens it. And dude's trying to open. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, they've watched this before. We've watched this before. He like points at this, and he's like, "Open it with the magic button, you guys." Green sides backpack points to not been arrested and is not on the FBI's wanted list, which is horseshit. And then Cheney appears to instruct someone. Then he tries to do it again. They open. Now, I would like to, you see what's going on here? Now, watch this. Man comes in. Dun, 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 dun. Tries to, pull that door. Pull it. Pull the door. Fuck, the door won't open. Let me try and pull this one. I'm pulling it. The door won't open. Bro, the door won't open. I'm pulling on the door, and the door won't open. Somebody, hey, anybody know how to get these doors open? Hey, you got, and by the way, they think he looks in the same direction at whoever the fuck that guy's talking to. That's why he's looking. It's like, that's like, obviously he knows the pilot, because when the plane flew over, he looked at it. And then, what do you, hey man, these doors won't open. Dude, The fuck? I yanked on both of them. I was pulling on both of them. They won't open. Try pushing. Oh, hey. Mystery solved. They're push, not pulls, you dumb motherfucker. Honest to God, this is one of my favorite of the conspiracy. Like, what? Like, freshman. These doors won't open. Did he try? And I guarantee it, there's no audio on this. But somebody up on the stairs went, try pushing them, you dumb son of a bitch. And then he was like, oh, all right. This is so good. Then he tries the doors open. They open. Yeah. Outward. You stupid son of a bitch. Les thinks I was kidding. I'm not. We looked at this before. This is one of my favorites. If the doors are open from the inside, does that make it an inside job? If the doors open outward, does that mean it was an attack by foreign entities? Jesus Christ. So the implication, someone unlocked doors, somebody. So the implication, the Capitol wanted to be attacked. Roy was like, "Hey, Dave, open the door." Oh heavens! Now we proved this was an inside job. Well, not as way. Those doors don't open right away. They're emergency doors. You actually have to hold them for 5 seconds for them to unlock to prevent accidental bumps, etc. In fact, it says door something like, "For emergency exit, hold 5 seconds for an alarm to sound. The doors to unlock." Of course, insurrection Roy here is amped up, doesn't see the sign, can't open. Then he does look up to the control. No. He looks up at the second floor stair where his fellow lawbreaker who's just yelled down an instruction how to open the door since he just opened one himself. Yeah, that and he's pulling on them. I mean, it's way simpler than that. They're emergency doors. You push on them, hold it, and 5 seconds it opens. And the dumb motherfucker pulls up and yanks inward. Anyway, so that's what the whole, like, he's calling us names shit was about. He called them grifters and idiots, and I agree on both.
I don't want to stay on that.
Oh. No, don't stay on that. You know, don't feel you have to open yourself from the inside out to us.
Okay. But I'm like, you know, a lot of times we go on instinct. We like to ask questions. Mm-hmm. And I felt
perhaps, since you're a big fan of asking questions, perhaps next time ask, why would someone try to push a pull door or pull a push door? I you know, that those things
felt like that.
And by the way, I wish there was dual footage, because I guarantee that on the outside there was some dude pulling on the door and there was another guy on the other side pushing on the other door when they were still locked.
Like you said, so we were over the target. Right. With the questions that we were asking.
Yeah. Somebody's been watching too much Steve Bannon. We were the tip of the spear.
And here is what I want you all, before we bring on the guests, listen to me.
Yeah.
You all, y'all need to start paying attention.
Close.
Yes. We got to pay attention. When you go up to a door, don't just push on it. It might be a pull door. And
Attention.
People, what I'm finding out is people, they don't pay attention.
Yeah, I know. You know, there's a great example of a guy who doesn't fucking pay attention right here. This would be a guy pulling on a door that opens outward, and then there was a sign on the door on how to open it at the same time, and the dumb son of a bitch didn't even bother to read it. That's a good example. Yes, that is true. True fact. True fact stated, Diamond. That is or Silk, Diamond. I think it's Diamond. Honest to God, I'm just going left to right. I don't think that's ever been answered for me.
They may look at something, but they not paying attention to
yes, to the details, like the sign that says "push and hold to open the door and an alarm will sound."
Details.
Emergency exit only. Not for use in insurrections.
And the one thing about Diamond and Silk,
whichever one they are,
we pay attention to details.
We go
details.
Go deeper.
You go. Well, all right. Ease in there, because.
And when Adam, what's his last name?
Kinzinger.
When he put.
Yes, they're into details. He's a Republican that's on the Jan 6 committee. But you pay attention to details. Anyways.
Put out that thread.
Kinzinger, whatever.
Silk was able to sit there and break down that thread and see all kinds of things that didn't seem factual or didn't seem right.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes. One of the biggest things about details is the part of how they seem.
That's right.
To someone who was wrong in the first place.
She was able to call out the inconsistency.
That's right.
Okay, all right.
Right.
And that comes from not just, but actually paying attention to details. And that's one thing I know about we, the American people. We don't pay attention to details. We like to go along with narratives. Whatever they say.
Oh, I see. Yes, the American people are sheeple. Thank God for Diamond and Silk paying attention to the minutia. What was that guy's name again?
And then y'all, and you like to go along with propaganda. That's right. That's what they say. That's what they say. Go ahead.
And see, what Adam, he thought that he can change the narrative about the question that we asked.
That's
All we asked was this: if the doors are open from the inside, does that make it an inside job?
That's right.
So he thought he could just change the narrative by telling us,
telling you how the door works, and who the guy who got arrested.
He want to tell us what actually was going on. Well, my deal is how he know what was going on from the second floor if it's not in the video. How can he tell us that somebody was yelling down from the second floor instructions on how to open the door?
Well, I'm going to go with, as a member of Congress and a member of the January 6th committee, he's seen the raw footage, which you can hear people talking in some of it. And all you guys are doing is watching this remixed video with royalty-free background music instead of the sound of what's going on, and cowboy lettering. And again, the magnetic doors appears to be like, he looks up and he sees Jesus. He points at the door. Hey man, how you know how to open these fucking things? Push and hold for 5 seconds. Wait, I did. I pulled and holded for 5. Push and hold for 5. I pulled it and it didn't. Push and hold for 5 seconds. How 4 or 5? Make up your fucking mind. 4 or 5 seconds. For 45 seconds, why don't you just say 3/4 of a minute? Shut the fuck up and push the door. Anyways, what's he know? We're just asking questions about the details that we're paying attention to, and how's he even know?
When there's no yelling in the video, ain't nothing but music. We don't see no.
There ain't nothing but music. Well, that's exactly.
Second floor in the video. We just see them right there at the door.
So how he know?
How he know?
And if there's another video.
Because they've seen witnesses and they've looked at the trial transcripts of the people who've been arrested, who were in there, who saw what happened.
How about for transparency, putting out that video?
Why don't he show us? But see, whenever you are little-minded, really little eensy-weensy-beensy minded, you'll tell on yourself. Ooh. And that's exactly what he did.
Well, that settles it. By the way, I would like to remind you that this is about January 6th and their belief that Trump actually won the election. So, insofar as details go. Hey, you know, there's a detail in the January 6th things, ladies, that I don't know that you've seen, and I recommend it. It's the part where the president's lawyer, Patsy Baloney, I think that's his name. I don't really pay attention to details like that. Said Rudy Giuliani told him that they have a lot of theories and no evidence. How come you guys aren't talking about that? All right, that spiced it up enough. Let's pick up with chapter 2. You're watching How Sparks Mega Worldwide, and we try to get through all this stuff. We're watching chapter 2 of Donald Trump, Tired, Broken Man, returns to Washington, D.C., the triumphant hero. where at this point, he has told us that our only solution to the drug problem in the United States is quick show trials followed by speedy executions of drug dealers, also drug mules, because he can't seem to tell the difference between the two. Let's see. I'm excited. What he says. He's got more plans in this one.
But you have to wait for the governors, in theory. We shouldn't be doing that anymore. If a governor wants to...
Oh, this is, you shouldn't have to wait for the governor to call in the National Guard. The federal government should be able to force soldiers on states. Like, again, where is the states' rights Republicans and all this shit? Yes, Republicans, your favorite father figure is saying that not only does he believe in take the guns first, then have due process, but he wants complete control of the National Guard and the ability to send them in regardless of whether your governor has called for them or not. Totally override states. And by the way, with that power comes a bunch more. That's right. It doesn't stop there. If the president can order in National Guard troops, what kind of troops can't he order in? Why are you guys bitching about Jade Helm and Agenda 21 if you want to hand power to this prick that he could apparently call up an Agenda 21 anytime he wants to?
Have vast numbers of people killed and riots and all of the problems that we have?
We don't have.
We're not going to wait any longer. We're going to pass legislation where we can immediately go in and help those people that are under siege and they have governors that don't know what they're doing.
Also, tepid applause, coke jaw. This is boring. I hate this. There is no fucking way even the most MAGA Republicans are going to sign off on this shit, that the president, no matter who they are, can order troops into the streets of any state against the will of the governor of those states. Are you fucking kidding me? Let me explain this to you. President AOC decides that the law against women having the right to choose, which has been reinstated through law, but the Texans refuse to allow women to express that fully by still running their snitch law or whatever. So AOC decides that she needs to attack that the National Guard needs to be sent in to secure anyone who is against a woman's right to choose. Do you understand what I'm saying? Red Wave 2022. Yeah, Dennis, that's not going to happen.
Under these circumstances, the federal government has the right, really, they have the right to do what they want to do, but
no, they don't. By the way, the word he's looking for is responsibility, but he can't, it's hard to get out of his fucking face. The federal government does not have the right to call up the National Guard against the will of the governor. That's why, that's the Republican system that they supposedly fight for. This sounds like something that someone to the left of Bernie Sanders would insist on. I'm not kidding.
We can't do that. We can't give that. It's a duty for us to...
He said duty.
Use every tool, every authority...
No, not every tool. We're not nuking any cities.
...and constitutional power at our disposal...
Yeah, you don't have a constitutional power to do this. Shut the fuck up.
...to defend the citizens of our country. If we have a weak, foolish, and stupid governor...
The federal government can just steamroll... And by the way... Whose opinion is it that they're weak and foolish and stupid? The president's. So if Joe Biden thinks that Greg Abbott or Ron DeSantis are weak, foolish, and stupid, and decide that any aspect of COVID's a great example, decide that that they're not doing enough to protect people, then the president can override their healthcare system or any of their issues in the state, in the world. And they will have to take that no matter what. They will just have to receive those troops doing whatever the fuck they're going to do. And Republicans are cool with this. Is that what I'm hearing? your Republicans are fine with that. You're all right with the president, the federal government, by the way, not even based on some sort of like the House or the Senate passing some kind of law. The president at his whim can send the National Guard into your state to change the way you act on all fronts.
That is allowing the kind of things that you saw to take place. We have to be able to go in and we have to be able to
make it worse.
Clean out the mess, and it has to be cleaned out quickly, strongly, has to go very fast.
And again, what's that? What are you going to do? What do you mean cleanly strong? He's talking about the George Floyd riots. And when he says that it has to be cleaned out quickly, he literally means that they open fire on the crowds. Fucking Kent State. That's what he's calling for. Why is there... I'm seeing water flicking onto my iPad, and I don't know... Do we have a leak because of the rains? That's so weird. Curious.
Just last week, a man tried to stab a sitting member of Congress running for governor of New York, Lee.
Yeah, Lee Zeldin.
Good man.
And please tell me how the DA released that person.
Man, good person.
He's doing his bullfrogging again.
And under the New York State policies, the attacker was released within hours.
Can I love this. I love this detail. This is I gotta tell you, it's just too sweet for words. I gotta get a cleaner version of this. Let's see. Lee Zeldin. New York's cashless bail law must be appealed. This guy, man arrested for attacking Lee Zeldin, released immediately. Lee Zeldin's campaign co-chair is the local district attorney, Sandra Doorley. She inexplicably declined to charge him with a violent felony and seek bail as she would have done in any other case. This isn't about bail reform. This is a scandal. Journalists start asking questions. The DA who released that guy for attacking Lee Zeldin is one of Lee Zeldin's campaign co-chairs. She's trying to get him elected, allegedly. Strange plan. Yeah. I'm fascinated. This is amazing. Hold on one second. Let's see. Where's this? Give me 1 second. All right, that's fun. So, hold on. I have something leaking in the ceiling that's running down the ceiling fan and was like flicking flecks of water around. So I had to climb up on my stool and see what the heck that was. I will that'll be a mystery that I have to solve at some point. Right on. So anyways, all right, back to where we were. Hopefully if there's like, you can't see it because of the texture of the thing, but there's actually little spots on my green screen from whatever it was, just like, it's like a weird dripping substance coming from the ceiling fan, which is not good. So I'm going to fix that at some point. This is what happens. I always have to have something to do. Anyways, like it. It's a good way to tell me to reset. Like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up. Support the show in any way that you can. There you go. Off we go. Indeed.
On cashless bail. And according to a study reported last week in the Wall Street Journal, a majority of murders in Baltimore are committed by suspects who should rightfully be in prison, but are instead roaming free under Democrat rule. Almost all Democrat rule. Amazing, isn't it? The next Congress and the next president should crack down.
Yes, Democrats run all the biggest cities.
On this insanity and crack down very, very hard and very, very quickly. The civil liberties of people, the safety of law-abiding Americans cannot be violated by weak mayors and
I think it might be air conditioner condensation. I agree.
Cowardly governors or people that just don't know what they're doing. Because you'd actually say, look, these are smart people. They don't get there without being intelligent people. They must know. The only other thing you could say is they hate our country. And I don't know. It's hard to believe they hate our country, but a lot of people say they hate our country. It's
the person who wrote this said they hate our country. So I'm just going to say, I don't want to say they hate our country, but it says it here. So I'm going to say.
The only reason they'd allow things like this to happen, because just from a common sense standpoint, how can you allow it to happen? And just look at the statistics, how bad it becomes. Where there are radical and racist prosecutors denying citizens the full protection of the laws.
He means Letitia James' mistreatment of him.
Those officers need to be investigated by the federal government, and their systematic violations of civil rights has to be taken care of. And where there is a true and total breakdown of law and order, where citizens' most basic rights have been violated, then the federal government can and should send the National Guard to restore order and secure the peace without having to wait for the approval of some governor that thinks it's politically incorrect to call them in.
Yes, that's what you hear that correctly. A bunch of Trumpites are applauding the idea that the president of the United States can override states' rights at their whim.
When governors refuse to protect their people, we need to bring in what's necessary anyway. We have to go beyond the governor. Another 60 people were shot. Think of this. It's not even possible.
It is possible.
Were shot in Chicago over the weekend. In Afghanistan, for 18 months, not one of our soldiers was killed.
Well, yeah, because you made a deal with the fucking Taliban.
And they had that number of...
Tell you what, if you want to make a deal with one of the gun-running gangs in Chicago Southwest Side, that all Americans will be out of Chicago in 16 months if they don't kill anybody. I don't know. Good luck.
People shot in Chicago over the weekend. Think of it. And he died, by the way.
They died.
When that many are shot, a lot are going to die.
Jesus Christ.
And this is constant in Chicago.
It's common sense. I have a friend who died of natural causes. Somebody shot him and naturally he died.
And this cannot go on anymore.
Can't go on anymore.
Every other approach has been considered and tried. And they've tried the weak approach. They've been trying it for years and really trying it over the last couple of years. And it's not working. It's time to go
It's not working. It's time to go. Gotta stop it.
Different direction.
Gotta do it.
And only one option remains.
Kill them all. Murdering extrajudicial murders. We need robots patrolling the streets and
The
killing.
next president needs to send the National Guard to the most dangerous neighborhoods in Chicago until safety can be successfully restored, which can happen very, very quickly. Fifth.
Yes, you hear that right. That is a Republican presidential hopeful arguing for the military patrolling of American streets.
We have
stay out of trouble.
To take back our streets and public spaces from the homeless, the drug addicted, and the dangerously deranged. What's happened to our cities? Look at San Francisco, such a beautiful city. And
well, I mean, as long as you walk around the Tenderloin.
Today, people don't even look at the beauty. They
don't even look at it.
Just want to try.
They can't. They look up, bunk. They get hit in the head. You have to watch your six at all times. Oh, San Francisco.
And make it to their office.
Oh, what? Hold on. They have to what?
What's happened to our cities? Look at San Francisco, such a beautiful city. And today, people don't even look at the beauty. They just want to try and make it to their office.
Yeah, you can't take your eyes off of everybody else because they'll.
Or their home. Less than 2 weeks ago, a beloved NASCAR star, great star, Bobby East, was stabbed to death out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. This man showed up out of nowhere.
Well, obviously, people come from somewhere.
By a homeless man as he filled up his car. Bobby was filling up his car at a gas station, and this man viciously attacked him in California, killed him. Days earlier, an Olympian in women's volleyball, great player, was attacked by a homeless man as she was walking down the street and brutally hit in the face with a metal club, almost causing her death and very close to causing blindness.
All right. Again, anecdotally picking out crazy homeless people stories and horror stories of these things in general. And by the way, let me see. Hold on. See. There you go. This is the story he's talking about. NASCAR star Bobby East killed in stabbing at California gas station. NASCAR Bobby East was stabbed to death at a gas station in Westminster. This weekend by a homeless man at a California gas station, and his killer is still on the loose. Saturday, authorities said. 37-year-old three-time auto champion was stabbed in the chest Wednesday while fueling up at a station in Westminster, California. Emergency responders tried to keep him alive, but East died at a local trauma center. Local cops are searching for Trent William Millsap, 28, who authorities consider a suspect in the stock car race and stabbing death. I didn't see that coming. Oh, look, he's got a Nazi. He's got a symbol on his throat. Anybody? Hold on. Anybody recognize the symbol on Hyatt criticizes CPAC over stage resembling Nazi symbol and hostility to employees. There it is. See this guy's throat? What are the odds? The transient known to frequent Westminster, Garden Grove, and Anaheim motels. Pictures released by the department show Millsap covered with tattoos on his head, face, and neck. Considered armed and dangerous, and the motive for the attack is unknown. The U.S. article East won 3 USAC national driving titles. I mean, and again, we're not talking about a dude who has just is just kind of like a mindless transient. This dude's a crook. 37 years ago. Okay, so they're looking for this Trent William Millsap dude. No relation to Ronnie, I don't think. Copy, and then we will hold on. Let's see. NASCAR stabbed alleged killer Trent stabbed. 5 days ago. Whoops. Oh, okay, here we go. California SWAT. They don't even do anything. They just let him go. California SWAT police have shot dead a suspect wanted for the murder of NASCAR star Bobby East. Earlier this week, 37-year-old East was found fatally stabbed at a gas station. Authorities said the suspect in the case is identified as Trent William Millsap. The SWAT team responded by serving a search warrant for the suspect, who was in an apartment on the 3300 block of Lincoln Avenue in Anaheim. Breaking homeless man on parole suspected of NASCAR stabbing NASCAR star Bobby East, 37 to death, is killed in SWAT raid. During the service of a search warrant, an officer-involved shooting took place. No officers were injured. However, a police canine sustained a single gunshot wound that was non-life-threatening. The dude shot the dog they sent in after him, and then they shot him after he was firing on that guy, along with the members of the Orange County District. Prior to the incident, police say that Millsap was on parole for armed robbery. The suspect had also an outstanding warrant for his arrest for an unrelated parole violation. He was described as armed and dangerous in the police statement. Those guys drove his vehicle around. Victim was found on the ground suffering from a serious stab wound to the chest area. Instead, I would like to remind everyone this guy was out on parole for a violent crime. This is not, we're not talking about like war on drugs, just people being mistreated, just, where they're just busting somebody for carrying.
No civilized society turns over its public spaces to be dominated by drug addicts or the homeless, no matter what the reason may be. If liberals think it's somehow
yeah, they do. They call it refugee camps.
Passionate, let them invite the homeless to camp in their backyards, soil their property, attack their families, and use drugs where their children are trying to play. Let them try it. Let them try it.
Well, they are. That's why Portland's all of Portland's hippies are turning on their DA, and it's why Chesa Boudin got kicked to the curb in San Francisco. But this experiment in like lackadaisical DAs, this asshole's going to seize on it. And the kind of people who are like, we've got too many people incarcerated. America has more people incarcerated than any other country in the world. That's because ours live. That's because ours stay alive and serve their whole term, and we provide them with health care, and we don't let them just wither and die. Other countries do. So don't even start. Secondly, the Chesa Boudins of the world, all they did was throw red meat to this asshole's crowd.
Letting people live in the street of a major city, or anywhere for that matter, with needles, drugs, squalor, is not good for anybody. For the good of everyone involved.
By the way, we know this. It's the solution you're talking about that we have an issue with, which is apparently send in the National Guard to, quote, clean it up quickly. Which I'm curious to hear what the plan is.
The homeless need to go to shelters, the long-term mentally ill need to go to institutions, and the unhoused drug addicts need to go to rehab, or if necessary, an appropriate jail.
Jail. I'm reading this for the first time too. I mean, a lot of this, I may sound surprised, but a lot of times teleprompters, that's what they do. They surprise me.
Taking over our cities, so many of our cities. It's at a level that nobody can even believe.
Well, yeah, they can. Because we've seen periods like this before in the 90s, in the early 70s. Have you read Helter Skelter? Well, read. But
wherever they go, surrendering our parks and sidewalks to people that in many cases are crazed, very sick, it's just not an option. Look, we have a problem. This is a big problem. How do you handle these hundreds of thousands of people getting worse all the time? Hundreds of thousands.
It says so in the teleprompter. Hundreds of thousands.
It would take years to build hospitals and housing facilities to take care of them, okay? Let's put that out. I did very well in the real estate business. It takes a long time to build houses.
He did very well. He's not doing well now.
And housing, years and years. Right now, they're putting homeless in super luxury hotels, the best hotels in the world.
No, they aren't.
Paying more money than they're charging for wealthy people who would have usually stayed there. They get paying more money.
Gibberish.
Thousands and thousands of dollars a night.
On hundreds of thousands of thousands of hundreds of thousands. It's not even believable.
And even at that, the owners of the hotels are unhappy because wealthy people aren't staying there anymore. They don't want to stay there.
Yeah, I know. It's just, no one's doing that. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
With all of that, they don't want to stay there. I fought very hard and very successfully in stopping tents being built on D.C. public property. Very hard. Every time I drive through the streets of our beautiful D.C. with the most beautiful monuments, everything's so beautiful, and then I'd see a cluster of tents and others, and I'd see it happening, and I'd send people out immediately.
Uh-huh. Secret
Service, by the way, did a phenomenal job. I'd send people out immediately to get rid of those tents before you, when you have 5 or 6 or 8, but when you have hundreds of them and even thousands of them,
even tens of thousands, even millions of them, if there's 2 trillion, I think the number is close to 5 billion people.
Very hard to do it. It comes too late. But coming in today for the first...
Wait a minute. What do you mean you just sent them out to get rid of them? What the fuck does that mean? They're Americans, even if they're mentally ill, even if they're drug addicted. The fuck?
First time since I left Washington, D.C., it is not recognizable what's happened.
Ugh.
What's happened. They have tents with homeless and others all over.
Yeah. Some of the people who are in the tents aren't homeless. They're just they're misplaced campers. They just don't understand the concept of camping.
I think the most beautiful public spaces anywhere in the world. I don't care. I could look at canyons. I could look at oceans. I think the most beautiful public spaces in the world. They don't look beautiful now.
He doesn't look at any of that shit. What do you think this fucker goes hiking?
Who is going to want to come to Washington, D.C. and...
Me. I'm going to be there September 10th for a Sexy Liberal show, and I'm going to be there a couple days earlier, and I might even tour the White House. Fingers crossed. We'll see if that works out. I'm definitely going to meet up with some congressional folks and say hi, whether they want me to or not. I'm just going to go to all the places where they supposedly hang out.
Perhaps even more...
And I'm staying in a tent on K Street. I'm just kidding.
Importantly, when a foreign...
Because they have, it's mostly for homeless people, but others, he said. So I figured, why spend that much on a hotel room?
Leader comes and they have meetings here. It leaves such a bad impression.
They go home and go, why don't they just set fire to them like we do? I don't understand. America is a shitty country. They have to let these people live.
Go home and say, what kind of a country has the United States turned into? And you don't think that gets around? You have to...
It does get around. Wound, get a wound. I get a wound. Yeah, get a wound. Woo, I get a wound.
What I saw today coming in, the streets were dirty. They were littered with papers. Main highway, main roads coming in. The main roads that we all take.
Yeah, we all take them.
They had more...
Newspaper.
Bottles and cigarettes and everything you could...
Bottles and cigarettes. Stuff drunk people do.
Imagine. Paper of all kinds.
Paper of all kinds. If you know what I mean. Paper of all kinds. Foreign newspapers. Unopened copies of swank.
From all places.
Origami. Yeah. Origami cranes.
Places.
Wrapping paper.
Lying along the roads. That's without the tents. And then you look at the tents and the homeless, and you say, what's happening to this great bastion?
This great Bastion of what?
Perhaps some people.
But you can't. It's bastion of something, dum dum. It's not just a bastion. Do you live in a? Sorry, I need to put this on the form. Is it a city or a town? It's kind of a bastion, actually. Really? Yeah, a bastion of what? It's just a bastion. Just as bastions go, it's pretty bastion-y.
People will not like hearing this, but the only way you're going to remove the hundreds of thousands of people.
Oh, fuck me. Here it comes.
And maybe throughout our nation, millions of people we're talking about, and help make our cities clean, safe, and beautiful again, is open up large parcels of inexpensive land in the outer reaches of the cities, bring medical professionals, including doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, drug rehab specialists, build permanent bathrooms and other facilities, make them good, make them hard, but build them fast, and create thousands and thousands of high-quality tents, which can be done in one day. One day
There'll be all these tents. Yeah, golf courses would be a great place for this.
And you have to move people out. Now,
just move them out.
People say, oh, that's so horrible. No, what's horrible is what's happening now. Because now they're in tents, but most of them aren't even tents that function.
Then they're not tents, never mind.
But we have to do it because you can put up a tent in one day. It would be 2 years, 3 years, long time if you're going to build housing that would take care of the kind of numbers that we're talking. We're talking about hundreds of thousands and probably millions of people.
Oh my God. And is now a bad time for me to mention Trump tents? Ivanka has put together these designer ones. Obviously, we're not going to waste those on homeless people. So Eric has his own line.
It will be the ambition of these people and all of us to get their life back on track.
Or they have to stay in the homeless camp. And what happens if they leave? What happens if they don't go to the camp?
Leave the tent city and be back into the mainstream of society, which is where they want to be.
What if they just want to leave? What if they leave, you take them there? Is there a wall around the tent city? You see where I'm going? Also, what defines mental illness? Ask Alex Jones if Republicans across this country are comfortable with the idea of a government tent city that you can't leave if they decide that you are mentally ill.
It's a great thing.
Yeah, these are internment camps. That's what he's talking about.
Now the media will go out and say, oh, Trump wants to build tents. No,
No, I don't think you want to build anything, fucko.
To take care of the people. Because nothing could be as bad as what's happening to them right now. And at the same time...
Okay, I see. So that's the standard. District 9 vibes, exactly.
I want to save our cities.
No, it's not voluntary.
Because you're going to have a time when nobody will be here anymore. Nobody...
Yeah, it's a fucking FEMA camp. That's exactly right. That's what he's asking for.
Will come here. Nobody will come to New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, or any of our cities. To build
Nobody's going to go to any of them.
Millions of units of housing or hold homeless people in luxury hotels, which are costing a fortune for the government, and have no medical or rehab professionals available. There are none available.
Yeah, there are.
Is fruitless, just like setting up a blue ribbon committee stuffed with publicity-seeking socialites. I know them all. And
you mean Ivanka?
Dilettantes. I know them all.
Yeah, we know. You're full of shit. They're full of shit. Birds of a feather.
To handle the coyotes, the caravans, the very tough drug dealers and human traffickers is fruitless. They set up blue ribbon committees. Everyone calls, oh, could I be on a blue ribbon committee?
That's what they do. They call up and say, oh, could I be on a blue ribbon committee? Holy shit.
Headed up by Mrs. Vanderbilt. To empower local communities
Not anymore, dummy.
to deal with these challenges, the next Congress should pass a landmark package of public health, public safety, and mental health care reforms.
Oh, you mean undo the Reagan dismantling of mental institution funding?
Cleaner streets are safer streets, and I will be happy to help campaign for any of those bills. And I can tell you, speaking for Kevin and Steve and all of the congressmen and women in the room and the senators in the
Oh, yeah. Speaking on their behalf,
room, of which we have many, I think we'll have
they're all big pro FEMA camp for homeless people.
no trouble getting votes for that, cleaning up our
Yeah, public safety. That's right. Spherical man. Yeah, public safety.
cities and cleaning up our countries and making it safer by a lot. We must restore the age-old right to self-defense. We have to be able to defend ourselves.
Unless you're homeless and drug addicted or mentally ill, in which case you can get scooped up and put in an internment camp. And if you try to defend yourself because you believe you should be able to walk free or whatever, I guess guns in the towers. What's happening? Yeah, this plan will come out in 2 weeks, right?
We've all heard the story of the bodega worker on the night shift in New York who was violently assaulted. Violent.
Yes, but unlike other assaults.
It was on camera, on tape, 3 different directions by a man attempting to steal a bag of potato chips when he stabbed the man in self-defense after being...
First of all, that's not the fucking story at all. A woman came in, was buying food. She had an EBT card. It didn't go through. The guy was like, there's nothing. It was like for $4. He's like, there's no, like, it's not going through. I don't know what to tell you. So she got all mad at him. She's screaming. She went and got her boyfriend who was on parole. He came back. He attacked the bodega guy. Somebody tried to de-escalate it by saying, I'll just pay for it. But it had already escalated at that point. And the dude came around behind the counter and started physically attacking him. The bodega owner's older. He fought back. He had a box cutter that they used to cut the packages that they have open and their supplies and inventory and whatever. And he defended himself with that, and the guy got killed. And then it was temporarily they were going to charge him, and now they're dropping the charges. It's like, come on. This is shit that happens every decade.
Really roughed up and beat up, punched in the face. And the bodega worker was charged with murder. But thankfully, after a lot of pressure, those charges have been dropped. They've been dropped.
Yeah, but like the pressure came from him.
But the message sent by jailing this man was that if you're attacked, you must lie down as an act of sacrifice and let yourself be pummeled and beaten to death to uphold the left's vision.
What? What are you talking about? He didn't get arrested. They were going to they were investigating. They were going to file charges. Then they dropped them.
Of reimagining public safety. Their vision is sick. The federal government needs to aggressively protect the right to self-defense in every jurisdiction where it is now under threat. It has to. If necessary, Congress should pass legislation spurring the Biden administration to act. I don't know how they can say no to it, but they'll find a way. And we should also have concealed carry reciprocity.
Reciprocity. If someone's concealing a gun in the restaurant, everyone gets handed a gun.
Number 7.
What do you mean concealed carry reciprocity?
Federal, state, and local governments should aggressively enforce existing statutes to stop the perverted sexualization of minor children. You have the statutes.
This is going to be their trans stuff.
The society that refuses to protect its children is
from the likes of Jeffrey Epstein.
A society that soon will not be able to protect anybody. This is a hallmark of cultural and social decay against which we should fight back very hard and very soon. We don't have time to wait years to do this. The sickos who are pushing sexual content in kindergartens or providing puberty blockers to young children who have no idea what a puberty blocker is. Neither do I, by the way. Neither do most of the people in the audience as you smile. Let's just say they're not good, are not just engaged in acts of depravity. In many cases, they are breaking the law, and they should be held fully accountable. And by the way, we should not allow men to play in women's sports.
And nobody is. We're talking about trans women and trans girls playing in girls' sports. Again, a standard needs to be established so that there's a period of time, so that natural-born biological advantages come down. But then after that certain point, they should be allowed to compete just like anybody else. He's going to go into the lifting thing and the swimming thing and all that shit again, right? He's just... They don't want me to talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it.
So crazy.
Everybody's so bored, I might as well be a bigot. He's getting a standing ovation. The only one so far of the night. I don't know why homeless internment camps didn't get a standing ovation. It's a mystery. I don't know why sending the president being able to sic the National Guard on any state they want without talking to the governor didn't get it. But boy, did this one cover.
See, it just shows you what these political geniuses, I have all these consultants, all these great...
Oh, yeah, and he's going to go, they didn't want me to talk about that, and look at the response I got.
Sir, don't say that. It's very controversial. That's not written down anywhere. I just said, this might be a good time. So, they said, don't do it. And that gets the biggest hand of everything.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy.
He's going to do the bit now, isn't he?
It's crazy. I tell the story of the great swimmer, female swimmer. Yep. Wonderful woman, beautiful woman. She's been swimming for many years. She wants to break the world record.
He doesn't know her name. He never mentions her name.
And she's at the pool, and she wants to break it by 1/8 of a second. That's like fast. And she's going to do it. She's getting ready, and she looks down. She sees all people she's been competing with for years because they rise to the top. And she looks over here, and she sees people. But then she looks, and they call this. They say this. She sees somebody with a man's body. That's what they do. They call it. I said, you think it's okay to say that? That's actually the expression they're using. They'll change that soon, so I have to do it quickly. I have to say it, because they're going to change that. And you know the guy. He was named Female Athlete of the Year. Did you know that? It's true. He was just named female. We're not dealing with things that are so easy here, Newt. This is a difficult, crazy world. You'd almost say, is the world going crazy? Because 99% of the things I'm saying are common sense. But she looks over and sees her friends down there, and then she looks, and this guy is massive. He's got a wingspan. He's got arms that are 30 feet long. And I always say, and she was seriously injured during the meet because he swam so fast that he gave her a major wind burn as he went by her. And
you have to be able to go to some of the hack bits. You know what I mean?
She didn't break the record, but he broke the record that day. You know what the number was? 38 seconds. So she wanted to break it by 1/8 of a second, and he broke it by 38 seconds. Or the weightlifter, I think it was like 200.
Oh, God, he's going to act out the weightlifter now.
118 pounds. I know, that's a lot. I can't lift it. I don't know who can. Any of our ex-Trump people, they're all Trump people.
Yeah, you haven't made any new friends, dummy.
Kevin's saying he can lift it. I don't know about that, Kevin, but that's a lot. 218 pounds, and she got over.
Really? Wait, deadlifting 218 pounds? They lift way more than that.
That weight, and she was going to break it. They put a half an ounce here, half little tiny ring on 11. And her mother and like this, screaming. She couldn't do it. You got it, darling. Stood for 11 years. Long. Alice. She scared me. You got it, darling. I'm stood up, my girl. And her mother and father. She got it. You got it, darling. Proud of my girl. Years. Alice. We could, and I'm so proud of stood for 11. Long. And her mother and father. Like this. You got it, darling. I'm my girl. Wait, this guy comes along. And her mother like this. You got it, darling. Stood for 11. You got it. You got it, darling. I'm stood up, my girl. 70 points of the.
Seriously, fuck that dude. Like, we've seen that stupid shit before.
About disinformation. Some people say misinformation. I like disinformation slightly better, but they mean pretty much the same.
No, they don't. Disinformation is active. Misinformation is passive.
They will say something, and you're supposed to believe.
You can disinform someone, and therefore they are misinformed. You can also pass on misinformation yourself and misinform people. It is two different. It's a matter of why and what you're attempting to do.
Believe it. Like Russia.
Yeah, that would be information.
Oh, Trump is an agent of Russia.
No, nobody said you were an agent of Russia. They said you were a useful idiot.
If they kept saying it, I might even start believing it someday. No, what they do is they say this stuff, and it's happening now with the January 6th. They say stuff, and they think you're going to believe it. It is a horrible, horrible thing.
Serious, horrible, serious.
But he said our border is secure. And I actually, the wonders of TiVo, I turned
TiVo.
it back to hear it again because I couldn't believe. And he did say that. He said our borders are secure. Mm-hmm. I believe we'll take in 15 million people, not
any number, just multiply it by 7. That's just for starters.
4 million people. And we have no idea who's coming in, but
no idea.
You know they're emptying their jails.
That's right. They're putting them in catapults and flinging them over the wall like the French in Monty Python's Holy Grail.
They're getting rid. And last week we had 141. Most people don't know there are many more countries than that.
There were 144 in the last speech. Did we lose 3 countries? Russia, what did you do?
But last week, we had 141 countries represented by people that came into our country illegally.
Am I off? Didn't he say 144 at the last speech?
We don't know who they are, where they're from. We know nothing about them. But, they say that I got a lot of things right. They say Trump called it all.
If we don't know where they're from, then how do we know that many countries came in? Never mind. I don't even know why I'm thinking about this shit.
All right. Everything I've said has turned out to be true. Many of these people that are coming in will cause trouble for our country, the likes of which you have no idea, terrorism and other things. They're sending in people into our country that will cause problems for us for decades to come, and problems like perhaps you've never even seen before.
Yeah, so anybody who's a new immigrant, obviously you should look at them cockeyed, and they probably are, going to attack you. They're basically, if they've got an accent, just treat them like you would Timothy McVeigh. If he had an accent.
For that kind of level. When we regain the majority, we need to use the purse strings to prohibit even one dime from being spent to implement Joe Biden's open borders agenda. We have to have it stopped and to force him to deport the illegal aliens that he is now refusing to deport. Now,
asylum seekers, that's different.
He's not going to do that. So
No, he's not.
Do have to wait to a certain extent. The guys can do a fantastic job, and they can stop things from happening.
So good.
But
hold on 1 second, just real quick. Okay, let's see. Now this is after court order, but it was a 90-day suspension of the rules while they reviewed them anyways. Biden administration has suspended an order that had focused resources for the arrest and deportation of immigrants on those considered a threat to public safety and national security. The action over the weekend followed a ruling this month from a federal judge in Texas. Advocates and experts say the move announced Saturday will only sow fear among immigrant communities. President Joe Biden's order last year was a departure from former President Donald Trump's administration when immigration agencies were given far wider latitude. Yes, the Biden administration wanted to focus on those considered a threat to public safety and national security. Trump thinks that's anybody from anywhere else.
It's going to be very hard for them to change that. They're not going to do it. I think it would be actually easy. I think we'd be doing them a favor politically. We're actually helping them politically if they ever did, but they're not going to do it. So we do have to do a great job.
Says the guy who lost.
2024, and I think we will do it. You know, it's interesting, when I campaigned in 2016, the border was a big deal, and I talked about it constantly.
Yeah, you talked about Mexico paying for a wall. That never happened.
And I won.
Yeah, on a lie.
Then in 2020, I couldn't talk about the border. You know why? Because I did such a good job. There was nothing to talk about. I said...
no, because we're in the middle of COVID.
It's true. I said, I can't talk about it.
Why not?
I complained. I said, I did too good a job. I did too good a job. That's like obsolescence. You know, a windshield wiper. For those of you, I used to...
Wait, the what?
Drive cars. I haven't been driving too many.
Bullshit. Citation needed. Has anybody ever seen this asshole behind the wheel of a car ever?
Lately. But for those of you that complain, you buy a windshield wiper, right? And it lasts for 1 year, and then it doesn't work anymore. You can't see. You got to get another one. They could make the wiper good for 100 years, but they want planned obsolescence. The same thing is happening. The exact same thing is happening.
I see. I didn't realize that the key to the border was windshield wipers. We just have that. Just knocks the immigrants off. Like they're coming over like raindrops. That's the theory. The fuck.
We have to be able to
what? Squeegee them off?
Close up those borders, and we have to be able to send many of the people back.
Yeah, we do. That's why they keep trying to come again and again.
Many of those people have to be sent back, and there are a lot of bad ones, so we have to send them back.
We know.
So I don't know how Kevin is going to handle that. I don't know how the Senate is going to handle that. Steve?
They're gonna handle it by remaining in the minority.
You're going to have to help, and all of the people are going to have to help. But, you know, you still need somebody in the White House, or it's not going to get done. It can't be done. You need help. And I think that help will be forthcoming, and I think it's going to be a lot sooner than people think. Very
Yeah. Asshole, you're not getting reinstated as president. You're not running, and you're not going to win. I think part of him thinks that he doesn't have to announce, because the day he says he'll run, he's the front runner automatically. He doesn't have to run. Like, all the Republicans can run, and then the last second he can just declare, and then he'll be the nominee, because everybody will go, oh shit, and bow and walk away like the fucking, like, trial by stone or some shit.
Republicans should be laying the groundwork for this today, and we need to stand and fight and demand that real border security, strong border security.
Yes, moats, sharks, laser beams.
Be included in the spending bill this September. Now,
that's weird. This September, why can't it be? We need real spending. Hello. Hi, I'm Hal Sparks. You're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide, a place where you can relax and know that this dickhead is not going to be your problem for much longer. And you can enjoy his final flailings as a political gadfly for the near future and not have to worry about it fucking up the rest of your life. Because, quite frankly, you've heard about, like, we've heard the word obsolescence tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Donald Trump. Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador agreed to spend $1.5 billion to improve smart border technology during meetings Tuesday with Joe Biden. A move the White House says shows neighborly cooperation succeeding, where Trump administration vows to wall off the border and have Mexico pay for it. Did not. If you'll recall, he said Mexico would pay for it. I know we have some maggots in the chat tonight. You guys just were you just fine with his finger up your ass that whole time? Were you just pretending to believe it? Or were you just happy to be lied to?
You know, I went to Mexico and I said, you have to give us 28,000 soldiers to protect our border. And the president, who I really like, he's a socialist, but that's okay. I like him a lot. He likes me. I like him. Can you believe this? I got along with him great. But he laughed at me when I suggested. I said, no, you have to do it. So then he sent his representative to deal with us. And everybody in the State Department laughed at me. They all said, they're not going to do this. I said, here's what you do. Give me a list of your 10 top things. I said this to all of the people, ICE, Border Patrol, everybody, and the State Department. Give me a list of the top 10 things you need from
bullshit.
Mexico.
This is just made up, by the way. This is not even close to true.
So, and I'll get them all.
No, he didn't.
They said, no way. No.
Right, no way. We didn't.
No way, sir. And there was a woman in the State Department who was really a good woman. She was there 25 years. She dealt with Mexico pretty much.
Oh, yeah, woman. I remember her. Mexico woman. Lady with woman, from Mexico. She speaks Mexico. Yeah, her.
Much
you guys know who she is.
Exclusively.
Almost exclusively Mexico woman.
Sir,
25 years as Mexico woman.
Sir, they will never do this. We've been after this for many years, decades. I say, how much you want to bet? I'll do it. And she said, you can't do it. I asked for all of the things, remain in Mexico, little thing, let's remain in Mexico. People think that's easy. It wasn't easy to get.
It was because of COVID. Title 42. That's why it's being overturned. That's why the Supreme Court with your people on it overturned it.
But we had all of the different things we needed, and I asked for 28,000 soldiers. And then we had 8 other things which were just equally as
Let's hear them.
Obnoxious to ask for. And I said, so what do you think? She said, you're wasting your time, sir, but that's okay. I'd like to watch. I said, fine. So the head man came in, the
head man
representative of the country came.
Also, the 8 other things. And by the way, he threatened American car manufacturers to get this, apparently.
He asked him for these 10 things, and he was laughing. Of course we wouldn't do that. We're not going to do that. We're going to give you soldiers to protect your border? I said, yeah, you have to do that because they're pouring through Mexico. You have to do that. We want 28,000 soldiers. That's the exact number we need. We will not do that under any circumstance. I said, all right, then I'm going to sign this piece of paper. And on Monday morning, this was a Thursday evening, on Monday morning, there will be tariffs imposed of 25% on every single item sold from Mexico into our country.
Yes, and by Tuesday, Texas will collapse.
And it goes into effect. It goes into effect on Monday morning at 8 o'clock, and that means all of the cars, because as you know, over the years, not with me, but over the years, they stole 32% of our automobile business. Think of it. They manufacture 30.
Yeah, those are American cars.
32. They took 32% out of our country. I said, all of those cars, everything that you sell into this country, 25%.
They don't sell them into this country. Our companies sell them in this country and have them made for a cheaper price in Mexico, stupid.
He said, I'd like to come back in 5 minutes. He came back in 5 minutes. President, we would be honored to give you all 10 of those things.
Yeah, gibberish.
And we got all 10.
What? Yeah, name one of the other ones.
We got all.
And by the way, if he's including remain in Mexico, that was Title 42. That was based on a pandemic.
All 10.
So the one thing he's talking about is the 28,000 troops, which, by the way, why they weren't on the southern border, I have no idea, because it was all about the caravans at the time.
We got everything. We
got
28,000 soldiers free of charge, no cost, and they did a fantastic job. It's one of the ways, this was during the construction of the wall, and it's one of the ways we had the best numbers in recorded history, but Mexico was great. But you have to be able to ask people for things. And the woman at the State Department said, I've never seen anything like it. I cannot believe it. And she was a good woman, but it's,
woman lady.
Just one of those things.
One of those things, one of those women.
The next Republican president must immediately implement every aspect of the Trump agenda that achieved the most secure border in history, including remain in Mexico, safe third agreements, you know what that is? Asylum restrictions, enhanced rapid deportation initiatives. I got all of these things.
Did you? He doesn't even know what they are.
It's just one of those things. The next Republican president must immediately implement every aspect of the Trump agenda that,
by the way, this is written out by Stephen Miller. He has no idea.
Achieved the most secure border in history, including remain in Mexico, safe third agreements. You know what that is? Asylum restrictions, enhanced rapid deportation initiatives. I got all of these things. And they gave them up. They gave them up. Newt, can you believe it? Yes, you can. He's saying, yes, I can. They gave them all up. Think of it. Remain in Mexico. In other words, you cannot come into the country. You have to remain in Mexico until we check you out. And if you're not a murderer, a criminal, if there's some reason why you
could get murdered, and you can be victimized by criminals in these in tent cities. Okay, so let's see. This is the what he's talking about is the Safe Third agreement. Exceptions to the Safe Third Country Agreement with Canada. The U.S. and Canada have an agreement preventing people who first enter one country from applying for asylum or refugee status in the other. This means that if you enter the U.S. first and then try to apply for asylum in Canada, you may not be able to. However, there are exceptions to this agreement that may allow you to apply for asylum in Canada even if you came to the U.S. first. For one thing, the agreement now only applies if you are planning on arriving at entry points on the U.S.-Canada land border. It does not apply if you plan on arriving in Canada at air or marine ports. The following questions will determine whether you meet any of the exemptions that will allow you to apply for asylum in Canada at the U.S.-Canada land border, even if you arrived in the. It's the same thing. This is Canada's version, where if you come to the United States and you're trying to get through to Canada, which happens a bunch. Are you going to arrive in Canada from land border? No. You qualify under this exception. Yes, you do not qualify under this exception. Check to see if you qualify under any other exception. That's you can't walk across the border. Like, this is the safe third thing. The safe third country. You got to wait in a safe third country. You're leaving Syria, you have to wait in Turkey or something as a safe third country until such time as we can process.
Legally, then we take you in. Other than that, you remain in Mexico, back to where you came from, the country that you came from, and that's it. And it was hard to get, but I got it pretty quickly, like in about 10 minutes. And they couldn't believe it. And that's it. And we had a great border, and people weren't pouring in. And now we have people remain in the United States and come back for your trial in 4 years, and nobody ever comes back. Only
yes, they do, because if they don't, they can never get citizenship.
The really stupid people come back. I think it's about 1% come back. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
You didn't see it. You didn't pay any attention to it at all.
We should pass a law enacting these reforms permanently. They have to be permanent. Under our administration, we built hundreds.
By the way, there's comprehensive immigration reform that handles some element of these. They're much more measured approaches. It's been languishing for years. Republicans continue to filibuster it. It has a lot of these things in it.
Of miles of border wall, hundreds. In fact, we completely finished our original wall.
I love this story. I finished the wall. That thing about me not finishing the wall, I finished everything.
Wall plan, completely done. We were so
No, you didn't.
proud of it. Despite 2.5 years of Democrat-inspired lawsuits, I won them all.
Democrat-inspired lawsuits. Yes, inspired by Democrats not wanting you to give land to Mexico. First president to do that in like 100 years.
And then some people came to me, we need more wall. So where do you need it? We need it in other areas. It wasn't originally planned.
Yeah, middle of Idaho.
Well, let's go and let's see if we can get it done. And then we had the catastrophe of the election. We had it almost finished. It was a catastrophe, that election, a disgrace to our country.
Oh, terrible.
But 3 weeks would have been done.
Yeah, 3 weeks. That's all we needed.
Would have been.
I mean, the election happened in November. There was more than 3 weeks between then and the inauguration. Now, why? The same thing with Iran. Like, why? If Iran was ready to sign a deal, well, then why wouldn't you continue? Why wouldn't you talk to the administration clearly that wants the Iran deal and they're ready to sign a deal? Like, we got them primed up. You guys just pick up where we left off. You'll have a fantastic deal in 2 weeks.
Completed all of the additional wall, but as you know, they didn't want to build the wall. They didn't want to build the wall. That's when I started to think that maybe they really do want to have these borders open so everybody can invade our country. The border was the best. And
well, I mean, obviously, it's a wall that blows over in the wind, so it's a slat fence. I'll give you that.
Safest in U.S. recorded history, and they have turned it into the worst in the history of our country, but probably the worst in the history of the world, and that includes third world countries.
Okay, again, gibberish.
Because no third world country would have millions and millions of people. I don't care how desolate, how poor, they wouldn't have millions and millions of people pouring into their country.
Ask Iran, motherfucker. What do you think happened at the end of the Afghan war? What do you think happened during the entirety of the Afghan war? Ask Pakistan or Uzbekistan or Turkmenistan or any of those fucking places. Millions of people poured out of Afghanistan into those countries. They live on the border of those areas. Ask any major country in Africa. What the fuck are you talking about?
There has never been a border like this in history. What they're doing to this country, they're poisoning our country.
Yes, with brown people.
Poisoning our country. And remember what I said, we're going to pay a big price over the years to come.
Terrorists. It's all going to be terrorists.
To repair the damage Joe Biden has done, it's also going to be necessary to fund the largest ever increase in the number of new ICE officers. You know how tough they are?
Oh my God, we're going to talk about
These are tough.
The nest, and they go in there, and you think you're tough, but you couldn't go in there, and they have knives, and these guys go whack-a-doodle.
Patriots. I know some of the people in these rows here, and I can tell you none of you want that job. Not even the governor. Hello, governor. None of you want that.
Hello, governor. Have you met woman from the State Department?
That job. They walk into a nest of MS-13.
Gaggle.
MS-13 doesn't like guns as much as knives. They like to hurt people and take a long time to do it. And a gun is too quick. And they took two 16-year-old girls walking home from school, and they cut their skin off.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Just so stupid. Get the fuck out of here.
And they died. They both died.
Really? Just without their skins?
They did it with knives.
Okay, all right. They didn't cut it off with a gun? They didn't have potato peelers?
And the ICE officers will run into a nest of MS-13, the meanest of all gang members. The
gaggle.
Meanest. The Hells Angels are like the nicest people in the world by comparison. They're like really nice. They're high society. And they cut.
I love how he's like referencing being rich and elite right now as if he still belongs to that crowd.
And they cut. And these people will go into a nest and they'll run in and the fists start going and they always win. They're tough and they love our country and they are totally disrespected by foolish Democrats that have no idea. And we've taken thousands.
What the fuck? All right, we got to take a break because I'm going to have to go through this in slices because I can only take so much of this bullshit in a row. Like two girls being filleted before they run into a gaggle of MS-13s. Jesus Christ, a nest. These are fucking vampires. Yeah. Yeah, he's seen The Lost Boys too many times. Let's see. Since we've got an asshole being gross anyways, look at this. This is from the Dan Bung. Hi, you're watching HAL SPARKS Mega Worldwide. Don't worry, I'll get through the whole thing. But Jesus Christ. Just gross and stupid. Listen to the title of this one. They're accomplices to mass murder. This is probably very similar to the storyline that we're talking about.
All right, I'm standing here in front of the federal courthouse in Washington, D.C., and inside is the first jury trial that was brought forth by special counsel John Durham.
And it went nowhere. Oh, here we go. Why is this? All right, we got to...
And Bongino show. I've got that. I've got the Biden administration's latest move on the border, which is even more disturbing
than the color saturation on this camera,
if possible. Then with the story we discussed last week, where they're allowing you to declare asylum.
Jesus Christ, that's loud.
Online, like you're buying like event.
Well, you have to do it online if you're doing safe
tickets for a concert, for a Sesame Street concert for your kids. It just keeps getting worse with these people.
Jesus.
All right, let me get to this. With summer vacation season now in full swing, it's important to protect yourself from identity theft while traveling. It's critical. What's going on in the United States, which is a mass murder of our citizens. There's no easy way to say that.
No.
I think long and deliberately about everything I put into this show.
That's not true.
I try to avoid
that thinking long and deliberately.
Unnecessary hyperbole, not necessarily emotion, but I don't like hyperbole.
No, of course not. That's why the title of this is "They're Accomplices to Mass Murder." But give it to us, Bongholio.
It's clear at this point that Joe Biden and members of his administration are accomplices to a mass murder of our citizens.
Oh, okay. It's because of how he handled COVID in the very beginning. When it first, no. It's because of the, yeah.
We are being deliberately poisoned to death.
You mean you just can't trust street drugs anymore?
By Mexican drug cartels and the Chinese Communist Party via the transportation of fentanyl, which is killing people by the thousands.
Yes, the biggest slate of deaths happened during the Trump administration. We know.
The Biden administration, these dipwads in the White House, know it's happening, and they are doing nothing.
They're doing nothing. This guy hates hyperbole. Do-be-do, do-do-do-do. La-da-da-da. The Republican Party is facing is facing Twitter or something for appearing to criticize President Joe Biden over a large amount of fentanyl being seized at the U.S.-Mexico border. On Monday, @GOP tweeted 621 pounds of deadly fentanyl was seized at the southern border in June alone. The GOP has sought to cast Biden as weak on the issues of immigration and border security as drugs smuggled across the border are considered to be a key driver of the opioid crisis. They claimed the lives of 68,630 people in 2020 alone. I don't remember who was president in 2020, but someone will remind me, I have no doubt. But the GOP's latest critique of Biden's border policy appeared to fall flat for many on social media. Critics of the GOP tweet point out that the Border Protection agents seizing a large quantity of drugs could be seen as proof that Biden's border policies are working, as they prevented them from entering the U.S. The operative word here is seized. How do you not get this? Yes. Do you not understand how this works? 621 pounds seized. They're doing literally nothing. As a matter of fact, Joe Biden has sent Hunter down to drive a bunch of it across the border in a Jeep with the top off so that it blows into the street where kids play.
Margin. Nothing. Folks,
they're not doing nothing. Somebody's been watching Anna Kasparian.
Why open up the show this way? Yesterday, I was getting in a workout after the show.
Yeah. And you reached over to take a shot of creatine, and it was somebody swapped it for fentanyl.
And it's a tough workout. And I was struggling yesterday a little bit. I'm having it's just a medical issue here. It's not a big deal. It's nothing major. I don't want to be dramatic, but it was kind of rough. and I was having a rough day, and I'm listening. So I'm not in a particularly great mood as I'm doing this really brutal workout and not feeling good. And I'm listening to an interview of yet another set of parents who lost their kids to fentanyl. Kid was online, I guess thought he was buying a Percocet, takes half a pill, thinks it's Percocet. It's fentanyl, kid's dead. Dead. Listening to the parents.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I can't listen anymore. This is probably the 10th or 15th parent interview.
By the way, somebody buying Percocet online and getting fentanyl is not shit coming across the border and him buying it on the street. The fuck?
Being that I consume media content all day of a kid who is now in a box 6 feet deep because the Chinese Communist Party and the Mexican cartels are poisoning these kids. I'm not absolving them of the responsibility to do smart things. Don't go online and buy pills. That doesn't mean you deserve to be dead.
Yeah, we know.
We all, believe me, all make stupid decisions. I can't listen to any more of these interviews, folks.
Well, sorry, it's a reality in the world currently.
We are deliberately being poisoned. The Chinese Communist Party is pumping this stuff into our country in what is a mass serial killing of our citizens.
Okay. Like, I'm glad he's not doing any hyperbole in this. Now, the Biden administration, hold on. We'll deal with a little bit of this. Now, hold on. In China. Here you go. Hold on. This is July 22nd. And it's interesting that that he's talking about this story now. Considering this is the current state of the story. Biden vows to continue encounter with China over opioids. U.S. President Joe Biden said Wednesday he will continue this encounter with China to attempt to stem the flow of deadly drugs being smuggled into the United States via Mexico. Biden, during an appearance on CNN's Town Hall-style program from Cincinnati, said his administration is dealing with the whole opioid issue by significantly increasing the number of people in the Justice Department working on it. That's why you're seeing so many seizures. Fentanyl is considered to be 50 to 100 times stronger than heroin. The health crisis in America is caused by synthetic opioids, primarily fentanyl, was frequently raised by Biden's predecessor, Donald Trump. The former president repeatedly criticized China, the primary exporter of fentanyl or its precursor chemicals, to Mexico, where cartels smuggle it into the United States, for not cracking down on the drug trafficking. A 1,500-word background memo issued ahead of Biden's third visit to Ohio during his 6-month-old presidency covered key concerns in the state, ranging from repairing highway bridges to combating childhood obesity. It did not mention the opioid crisis, although Ohio was one of the highest per capita rates of overdose. This is last year. Asked by VOA on the Air Force One flight Wednesday to the event whether, in view of this, the issue remains a priority for the Biden administration, the White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki responded, absolutely, it's a top priority, and there's no question it is an issue that has impacted the people across Ohio and continues to. Any health expert will tell you that the most important thing we can do is make sure people have access to health care coverage. Some U.S. objectives set during the Trump administration with respect to China remain unmet. China has not taken action to control additional fentanyl precursors following Beijing's crackdown on 2 such substances in 2018. Chinese traffickers shifted to sending not yet controlled chemicals to Mexico, and Chinese nationals indicted in the United States on fentanyl trafficking charges remain at large, noted a January report from the Congressional Research Service. This is when Trump was still president. I don't believe there's much we can do to slow these countries' export of these drugs, said Ben Westhoff, author of Fentanyl Incorporated, How Rogue Chemists Created the Deadliest Wave of Opioid Epidemic. All we can do is implement harm reduction measures at home, like supervised injection facilities, while also providing greater access to fentanyl testing strips, medication-assisted treatment, and needle exchange programs, he said. Westhoff described himself as an advocate for harm reduction, the philosophy that accepts people cannot be stopped from using drugs, and that instead users should be taught about the dangers and help them to use more safely. Also, that doesn't help when you think you're getting a Percocet. Harm reduction does not work unless you are talking about the drug you're actually, you're using what you think you're using. In this framework, the Biden administration has only been marginally better than Trump's. Mostly, they have simply maintained the status quo. So the Biden administration mostly kept what was going on as far as the relationship with China. and continues to, and just tightening the screws. In the midst of the worst drug crisis in American history, we need bolder action. This is the Center for Disease Control. According to the overall, there's a dramatic spike in U.S. drug deaths, up about 27% in the first 6 months of the U.S. Coronavirus pandemic. A lot of times because people didn't get like a quick response because hospitals were overwhelmed. People didn't want to go to the hospital. They were more reticent to do it, and then they just died. Illicitly manufactured fentanyl and synthetic opioids are the primary drivers of this increase. The acting head of the office said in April. Biden administration is not doing enough to address the issue with either China or Mexico, according to Bill Larkin, a senior legal research fellow at the Heritage Foundation. Larkin said the question for the president is how many people must die from smuggled fentanyl before he closes the southwest border to drug smugglers. Okay, it's not open to drug smugglers. Hundreds of other people are dying every day in this country while we wait for the answer to that question, Larkin told VOA. Let's see. While the numbers have stabilized in this country, Sinan told the VOA that those statistics are a person, a mother, a father, brother. Okay, sorry. Throughout Hamilton County, there were 50 to 70 overdoses each week, more than 400 people dying every year. While the numbers have stabilized across the country, he says, too many. I thought I was being over. Let's see. Senator said he wrote Trump asking whether 70,000 to 100,000 Americans need to die before action is taken. I thought I was being over dramatic, but now I realize that not only was I not dramatic, but the numbers are pretty close, said the police chief. I wholeheartedly, adding he has a similar question for Biden. The White House nearly 4 months ago, after the start of the Biden administration, introduced a 7-part plan intended to decrease the number of deaths. This would be this. Embargo, State Department, hold on, move this. Can we, how do you get rid of this thing? There you go. Control plus. Whoops. Statement on drug policies from year one. Overdose and addiction crisis taking heartbreaking toll of too many Americans. Okay, here we go. Priorities: expanding access to evidence-based treatment, advancing racial equity issues to approach to drug policy, enhancing evidence-based harm reduction efforts, supporting evidence-based prevention efforts to reduce youth substance use, reducing the supply of illicit substances, advanced recovery-ready workplaces and expanding the addiction workforce, and expanding access to recovery support services. And then each one of these has a subcategory of how they can handle it, including, where is it? The use substance. Where's the reducing? Here it goes. Reducing the supply of illicit substances. The Biden-Harris administration will take steps to reduce the supply of illicit substances in the United States as part of a comprehensive agenda that prioritizes prevention, treatment. The Biden administration's statement of recovery, harm reduction. The Biden-Harris administration believes the part of the solution to the opioid overdose epidemic involves preventing illicit drug trafficking into the United States. While synthetic opioids such as illicitly manufactured fentanyl, its analogs, and non-fentanyl synthetic opioids have been the driver of the overdose deaths since 2015, the United States is also seeing increased availability and use of methamphetamine and other synthetic drugs. Moreover, the U.S. continues to face the challenges posed by the availability and use of cultivated drugs such as heroin and cocaine, which are often adulterated by synthetic opioids. So, how are you going to do it? Work with your partners in the Western Hemisphere. Exercise leadership in regional and multilateral forums such as the North American Drug Dialogue to advance evidence-based public health responses to substance abuse and prevent the proliferation of falsified medicines and the diversification of illicitly produced substances. Use established multilateral and bilateral forums. Strengthen the U.S. government's capacity to disrupt the manufacture, marketing, sale, and shipment of synthetic drugs by addressing illicit internet drug sales and the continually evolving techniques of illicit drug transactions. This is all the like ICE, the DEA, everybody has been given instructions to continue this.
The cartels are facilitating it, and the Biden administration is clearly 100% an accomplice in this mass murder.
Fuck you. So the 68,000, the biggest spike in deaths in our country's history from opioids, which happened under the Trump administration, and clearly he didn't do shit right up to the election. He certainly didn't do anything after the election. He'd given up on being president entirely. How is he not complicit in all that shit?
I use those terms deliberately.
Yeah, we know. You had to form them with your face.
Absolutely deliberately. Folks, I could put these
as opposed to accidentally, deliberately.
Articles up all day, but I picked one not from a border state. In case you think, oh, this isn't my problem. I don't live in Arizona. I don't live in Texas.
I don't get painkillers through the mail using internet websites.
Other border states as well. I don't live there. It's not my problem. Here's an article.
Oh, sorry. I'm too quiet and the videos are too loud. Is it like I tried to bring it down?
I just randomly pulled from News Channel 5 Nashville.
Check.
No particular reason other than it's not a border state.
I don't know why my mic keeps going down. It's very strange.
Fentanyl continues to be the main cause of drug overdose injuries and deaths in Nashville.
Right? Because use is up in the other areas, but they don't kill you. So if you're going to die or be injured, you're going to be killed because of fentanyl. The rest of them, I mean, heroin's going to kill some people. Meth is going to contribute to your bad health. It's going to lead you to death. But overdoses don't really happen in those areas anymore unless they're laced with this, because heroin, by comparison, is, it takes a lot more to overdose.
It's not a border state issue. It is a United States issue. We are being systematically murdered. It is a murder. It's done deliberately.
I would like to hear the evidence that I think there might be a wanton disregard for human life on the part of some people in the CCP, and I think the cartels want to, make and sell drugs. It doesn't make a lot of sense for them to kill off their users. So the death of every user means that they're going to lose them. So the idea is that I guess we're supposed to presume that the Chinese are using the drug cartels to murder Americans because the drug cartel's just selling something, but the Chinese are coming up with something that's poison effectively just right off the jump.
These cartels are doing this on purpose.
No, they're not. As a matter of fact, some of the cartels are trying to sell more meth and get off of and compete with people who are selling fentanyl because it's killing their users.
It's not you think they don't know? You think these people are stupid?
No, I think they're businessmen. I think the Chinese might know in the CCP.
Telling me the Chinese Communist Party, with its massive surveillance state, its abuse.
I'm sorry. Can you do this on your TikTok?
Of artificial intelligence and its aggregation of data on American citizens, that they don't read these news stories and they're just producing a bunch of fentanyl and they're like, I don't know, man. Is it killing people? You're telling me they don't know this?
Well, the precursors to fentanyl also make other things. And so they shut down the actual production of fentanyl per our request, but they're still selling the precursors. And they're being bought by people illicitly or, over and under the table out of China by the cartels themselves. Now, here's the question. Does anybody think that the Chinese government produces fentanyl or fentanyl precursors and they meet directly with cartel members and sell it directly to them? Or do they believe that people in the factories where this stuff is made sell it under the table as an illicit part of the drug trade, sort of, outside the regular pharmaceutical industry there?
And what's the Biden administration doing to stop the fentanyl coming in over our southern border? Absolutely nothing to stop it, but they're doing a lot to facilitate it.
Okay. Yeah, no.
They are accomplices in a serial killing of American citizens.
But it's good that he hates hyperbole.
That's hard for you to hear, lefties. Digest it.
No, I can hear it. I just think you're an asshole and slightly hilarious. Like, don't get me wrong. I may appear aggravated, but it's mostly for show. I don't take any of this seriously. Nobody is listening to Dan Bongino on this topic.
Eat it, own it. It's you. You did it.
You did it. That's why the largest spike of deaths happened in the last year of the Trump presidency. Okay.
You can stop this tomorrow.
Okay, how? Mount 50 cals and shoot anybody who crosses the border? Bomb, what are we, nuking China?
You could stop this tomorrow.
All right, tomorrow. Right. What time? I got a show in the afternoon and I've got gym in the morning, but I got I can
start massive deportations of people here illegally.
How's that going to affect? That's just going to send them home to bring more shit in.
Build that border wall tomorrow.
There's already a wall. Trump said he already finished it. They just wanted a little bit more, and it's also not a wall, it's a slat fence.
Immediately reinstate the migrant protection protocols and enforce them.
The migrant protection protocols and hold on. Migrant protection protocols. This would be the Remain in Mexico. The Migrant Protection Protocols is a U.S. government border enforcement program under MPP. Certain migrants who arrive at the border by land and express fear of returning home can be forced to return to Mexico while they wait for their immigration and legal proceedings, instead of being allowed to wait in the U.S. Again, this has nothing to do with people muling. People who want asylum are not the people muling drugs, fucko.
Immediately send a message. If you come here, you're going to be prosecuted. We don't care. We will find the jail space.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So if you're afraid to live where you're living and you won't have enough money for food or medical care, come to America. We'll build you a cell. You'll have to live in it, but you'll get free medical care and food and 6 hours of yard time since you're not there for a violent crime, and pay for it with taxpayer money. Yeah, just come on. I guess.
You are not getting, when you're out, you will be immediately sent back.
Yes, you're going to spend 20 years in jail while we cure your cancer oh God.
Instead, they'd rather see Americans die. They are accomplices to a mass murder. Folks.
And again, what does any of those people have to do with drug trafficking?
We always produce the receipts on this show and the backup evidence to
No, you don't.
back up what we talk about.
Let's hear it.
The data matters.
The data matters. Here comes. We're going to end on the data. Thank God. I thought this was just hyperbolic bullshit from a lunatic.
I told you last week about a story that
a story. Got it. Okay.
The Biden administration, in order to facilitate even more asylum claims, the overwhelming number of which are not legitimate.
Well, it's your opinion, but okay. Data.
Asylum meaning what?
Meaning people are seeking safety in a safe country where they have either relatives or some sort of ties, or are simply fleeing to because their children or themselves are going to be the victims of political, domestic, or sexual violence in their country of origin, and they don't have another choice. In general, I mean, I'm paraphrasing.
That you are fleeing persecution, political persecution, potentially death right now, you specifically.
And your family members or your child, in the case of a lot of like young men getting scooped up in gangs so their mothers bring them up here when they're 12 years old.
Folks, that is not what's happening with the overwhelming majority of asylum claims.
Right, and that's why the overwhelming number of asylum claims are turned down and people get flown home.
But the Biden administration wants more asylum claims because they want more illegal immigration into the country.
Okay. Well, if they want more illegal immigration, why are they doing asylum claims? Because those are legal.
So we said last week, they're making I covered it on my Fox show as well. They're making it easier where like you can just go online, like you're buying a movie ticket or something, and make an asylum claim there.
Oh, before you had to come into the country. Now you can just fill it out online. You don't even have to come here. You can fill it out from whatever country you're in. Is anybody filling out asylum claims while they're already in the United States? Are they borrowing Wi-Fi? What's happening?
Their latest disaster. These are real stories. Again,
real stories. The data. Data. I cannot make bricks without clay.
To facilitate the mass murder of our citizens via an open border. They want more people in the country.
Oh, I get that. Yes, more asylum-seeking women and children who are actually just scarecrows filled with fentanyl seeking asylum, and now they can fill it out online.
Illegally. More.
Got it.
Which, by the way...
Get to the stories, fucko.
Even if 999 out of 1,000 outside of breaking law to enter the country don't go on to commit another crime, even if that were the number, I'm not saying even if it was, the open border sends a signal to the 1 out of 1,000, and we're being probably generous on this, 1 out of 1,000, that they can come in too with their fentanyl, child sex trafficking,
No, they can't. And by the way, those kind of people don't need encouragement, dum-dum.
terrorism. Do you understand? This has a cost. People are dying. Here's the latest disaster.
All right, the latest disaster. Data. He wants you to know that this is not just hyperbole. The Biden administration is making this happen. Let's see it.
From just the other day.
Just the other day. This is fresh.
Biden administration's now looking into issuing temporary ID cards to illegal migrants.
Okay, so this is from Just the News. All right, let's look at this. Let's see. Just the News. I appreciate that it's Just the News. Biden admin looks into, right? That'll be enough. There we go. Let's check this out. This is a whole article. Okay. This is data. This is real shit. Here we go. This is the actual article. Here it is. Biden administration looks into issuing temporary ID cards to illegal immigrants. Interesting, not asylum seekers. Huh. Interesting language. I'm getting a bit of a slant from Just the News. I mean, it just doesn't sound like it's just, oh, look, it's Newt Gingrich on the site. Just the News. Okay, so good. The card may even be used to access certain state benefit programs. The report. Let's hear it. The Biden administration is reportedly attempting to issue temporary identification cards to illegal migrants who are awaiting a final decision on their immigration cases. Two government sources familiar with the situation told Axios. Okay, so we'll look at Axios in a second. The exact details are unclear, but I mean, basically, I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that they are attempting to funnel an underground railroad of murderers into the country. I mean, the exact details are clear, but let's just go with rape train. But the ID cards would apparently be given to migrants who are not in detention centers, but illegally crossed the U.S.-Mexico border. The cards would likely include a QR code that would direct cardholders to court information, documents through an app, the official said. The app could also be accessed on smartphones that are being given to illegal migrants by the administration, as confirmed in April. We'll look at that in a second as well. Open link in new tab. The cards may even be used to access certain state benefits. Migrants could also present the card to TSA to travel by plane. The Appropriations Committee has already allocated $10 million for ICE Secure Docket Card Program. It is proposed for the fiscal 2023 appropriations bill. The ICE Secure Docket Card Program is part of a pilot program to modernize various forms of documentation provided to provisionally released non-citizens through a consistent, verifiable, secure card. This would be proposed. Who proposed? Let's see who put this. Okay. This is the thing. All right, so let's go to the Axios story. Government eyes plan to give IDs to unauthorized immigrants. They're called unauthorized, not illegal in here. This dude and his kid, U.S. Border Patrol agent takes photos of immigrants as they wait to be processed. This kid's trouble. Trump warned us. This kid's going to grow up to kill us all. The Biden administration plans to test providing temporary ID cards to unauthorized immigrants awaiting a final decision on their cases. So they've passed their preliminary decision, and they've got a court date. They haven't been sent back immediately. They've qualified on the metrics 2 or 3 times, or whatever the 2 points, and they're waiting for their final thing. To unauthorized immigrants awaiting a final decision on their cases, according to government sources familiar with the planning. Why it matters. Hold on. Back up. Recent border crossers and other unauthorized immigrants into the U.S. often do not have IDs, making it more difficult to access housing, healthcare, transportation, and other benefits. Officials are considering a pilot program to relieve some of those burdens while also incentivizing more frequent communication with law enforcement through the complicated court process. Don't forget, congressional members included $10 million for the program, which is called the ICE Secure Docket Card Program, in the fiscal year 2023 appropriations bill. The administration is hoping to get needed congressional approval before the end of September to roll out a pilot before a potential Republican takeover in November. How it works. Details of the program and who would be enrolled in the pilot are not yet decided. Generally, ID cards would be provided to migrants not in detention centers who illegally cross the U.S.-Mexico border or others without legal status going through the lengthy immigration or removal court process. The court would likely include a QR code that would provide the enrollee to the access. Okay, we saw that. It would also allow unauthorized immigrants such as asylum seekers to prove, if stopped by authorities, they are already in the immigration system. Ideally, it would also incentivize unauthorized immigrants to provide accurate information about their location and virtually check in more often with law enforcement rather than having to wait in line at a physical ICE office. What to watch? If given a green light, there could be even bigger potential uses for the ID cards down the line. They could be presented, this is Axios saying this, could be presented to TSA agents to allow unauthorized immigrants to more easily travel by plane or to access certain state benefits programs, what they're saying. The ICE Secure Docket is part of a pilot program to modernize various forms of documentation. Okay, this is just adult shit. It's yet another sign of the administration's attempt to revamp ICE, the agency charged with arresting, detaining, and deporting unauthorized immigrants. Under Biden, the agency has already ended family detention, attempting to focus, but I'm not inspired to vote. I don't care about, we don't care about those people, do we? Oh, yeah, wait, okay. Biden administration gives illegal immigrants smartphones. From Just the News. Which part of that is supposed to deter people from crossing illegally into the states? Peter Doocy asked Jen Psaki. The White House Secretary Jen Psaki confirmed that the Biden administration is giving technology such as smartphones to illegal immigrants to check in and track them as an alternative to detention. Fox News correspondent Peter Doocy asked Psaki about reports from his colleagues in Texas. The administration is starting to give smartphones to border crossers, hoping they'll use the phones to check in or to be tracked. Which part of that is supposed to deter people from crossing illegally into the states? Well, I would guess the people who are crossing illegally and don't want to become a part of the regular system, want to just operate under the table and aren't planning on getting the citizenship at any point, wouldn't want the phone because you could track them with it. Psaki reported to Doocy, of all people, that Doocy, of all people, would recognize that we need to take steps to ensure that we know where individuals are. The alternatives to detention programs is what we utilize. It has 3 unique forms of technology to monitor participants enrolled in the program. Telephonic, which is one of them, which uses a participant's voice to create a biometric voice print during the enrollment process. And when the participant has a check-in call, their voice is compared to the voice print. SmartLink, which is another option. It enables participant monitoring via smartphone or tablet using facial matching technology to establish identity. And third, GPS monitoring using satellite technology through an ankle bracelet. These are the 3 points that they're going to do, which this asshole apparently thinks is nothing.
I can't. Look at this. This is your.
I can't.
This is
clinically. It's
insane.
It's insane. It's crazy.
Not like insane, like hyperbole insane, like clinically insane, like padded room, freaking crazy.
Why? These people are already through the process. They're very possibly going to be accepted on their asylum claims. They have gone through most of the hoops necessary that they have to jump through to get their asylum claim recognized. And they're waiting in the country after they've gotten through these other 2 hoops, the first of which they did in a safe third country like Mexico or fucking Canada or somebody else, or did it in their own country. They've made it up here, and then they're given these things to track them during the final stage. Oh, hold on. Right.
The ID cards may even be used to access certain...
May even. That's what Axios thinks possibly.
State benefit programs, Axios reported.
No, they didn't report. They speculated.
Migrants could present the...
But data. They like data there. He stays with the data. Bangholio, who's looking for TP for his bunghole.
Card to TSA to travel by plane. This is unreal. This is unbelievable. After 9/11, they institute this national, safe ID type program. States have to revamp their... Remember this?
Yes. And how many of you at home, how many of you... When you've gone through the process of buying a plane ticket, have a as part of your ability to be tracked, as part of your ID, your real ID system that you get on as an American system, how many of you have gone someplace and had your voice recorded so that it can be compared to your voice print later, have done permanent facial matching identity monitoring, like automatically signed up for that clear thing by the government? Yeah, right. No one. And I'm guessing most Americans aren't wearing a fucking ankle bracelet.
Joe had to revamp their IDs to make sure me and Joe don't get on a plane because we're big terror threats, of course. Remember that everybody had to get a new driver's license?
Yes. And none of that involves you getting a voice print, a digital scan of your face to be compared, and wearing a GPS ankle monitor.
Now, come into the country. Oh, huge pain in the ass. Mega pain in the ass. On the pain in the ass scale, a 100 out of 100, the whole TSA routine. Yeah. And now migrants in the country illegally. You get a nice little ID card, state benefits. You get to present it to TSA. Isn't that great? Isn't that great for you?
Yes, after you pass the asylum claims and you're here with your family, you fuckwad. Of course. They've qualified. They've gone through all the process. They've shown themselves to readily approach the process as best they can, even in seeking asylum. And still, their ID involves their picture, a QR code, all the information pertinent to them. They have a regular check-in, like they're on fucking parole. They have a voice print of them so that if they call in, they know it's actually them. A face print of who they are. And a good portion of them, the males, wear an ankle monitor.
Get that crap out of here.
I don't know where you get that.
Duke Nukem.
Pretty funny. Never. It's not going anywhere. That crap's staying right here. Matter of fact, the crap's getting worse.
No, it isn't. Not tracking them, running out of resources, and them fucking off without you having any way of tracking them. With all the modern technology we have, this is an easy way to do it. It also keeps them from dropping below the radar because they don't have a choice, because they don't have an ID. They don't have a way of verifying who they are and what their status is or any of that shit. So they're with their, they get a job or whatever they have to do during the year or so that it's required, even if they're just working in a church and that kind of stuff. And they have to track who they are. And the church has to go, okay, I need to list who you are. Who the fuck are you? Well, they don't have any ID. So you give them one, establish who they are, establish it based on more details, quite frankly, because they do a DNA swipe of these people as well. They track their ID card is way more egregious than ours that shines sideways and you can see if the signature is underneath the plastic.
So again, just to kind of sum that whole thing up.
Why would you need to sum it up? You're a bigoted asshole. You're easily confused. You said some shit about data, and then you just use this idea that they're going to actually use data to track people, and somehow that points to us, and pointed to seizures of fentanyl at the border, an increase in seizures of fentanyl at the border as a sign that more fentanyl is getting in, not less.
The cartels, the human traffickers, the sex traffickers, the fentanyl traffickers, the Chinese Communist Party using the fentanyl traffickers and sex traffickers, they need an open border. They also need floods of people. Even if 999 out of 1,000 don't commit an additional crime,
they should be thrown to the sex traffickers to be sent to Central America or the Middle East, even if they deserve asylum, because if one of these guys get through, our Customs and Border Patrol guys just suck. They're never going to catch them. Is that what you're saying?
Because the crime is entering the country illegally.
Yeah, it's not. If you have a real asylum claim, that's not the crime.
They know that sending in these floods of people distracts Border Patrol, CBP, and other officials while they just waltz fentanyl in a mass serial killing of
just a big bag over their shoulder like fucking drug Santa.
American citizens. And you don't think sending out a message around the world that, hey, here's the great...
Hey, asshole, here's... I agree. Stop saying the border is open when it fucking well isn't. Because I've said this a bunch of times, and I'm going to end the show on this. You guys have seen me deal with this, like, on like Fox News clips on Newsmax, but if you see someone on television saying the border is open and anybody who wants to can just walk on in, the person saying that is a Republican. The Biden administration hasn't said that. The Democrats aren't saying that. Mayorkas isn't saying that. None of the cabinet members are saying that who deal with this issue. None of them. If you're in a foreign country and you see someone saying the American border is wide open and you can walk right over it, that person is on Fox News. That person is a Fox News host. And so if you think saying the border is wide open drives people towards the United States and makes them stream across the border, uncontrolled, and even if 999 of them are well-meaning, one villainous one is too many. Here's a good idea. Stop saying the fucking border's open when it ain't. Stop it. Stop lying to your viewers. Stop lying to immigrants. Stop lying to people who find themselves at the fucking border, because every time they see on the news in their country, they see right-wingers talking, they're all saying Mexico's just letting everybody come on through. Just walk right through Mexico, head across the border and into the United States. It's a lie. The border isn't open. It's squalor on the Mexican side of the border, and that's why they're agreeing to help us, because it's jacking up over there, because these fuckheads are constantly going on the news saying it's wide open. It's not. And the only people saying it, the only people attracting people to the border are fuckos like this. Fox News says it all the time. Stop. I don't care if you think the Biden administration can do more. I don't care if you think they need to be more, egregious. We know you think that. But when you say the border is wide open, you're the fucking problem. Because if people show up here seeing this shit, seeing these things on the news down there, or seeing stories about the Biden administration has a wide open border policy. That is the fucking quote from all of these assholes. Who do you think there is culpable in them coming up here? The border is not open. We believe in taking people in on their asylum claims, but the United States often has programs that deal with the problems in the countries themselves to the extent that we can. And neighboring countries who end up taking in people from a country where there's an egregious fascistic or dictatorial system that's making people run for the border, we help those countries with aid and other stuff so that they don't have to leave the entire region just to find sustenance. And if they find themselves, moving to Chile or some of the other country, or Argentina, that they have, those countries aren't swamped by that. The United States helps them so that their recourse isn't only to come to the United States. That's why when Trump dropped all that funding, he actually created those fucking caravans that he was warning us about. The caravans are coming and they're bigger than ever. Well, why the fuck do you think that is, dummy? You only cut off all the aid that helps people who are relocating to another country when something awful happens. This is, Benghazi open border laptop emails. It's just such garbage. And this fucking idiot, just like all the rest of them, is constantly saying the border is open. Somebody you're wrong. We will fuck all other. We don't fuck other countries. Are you out of your mind? Please. Benghazi Biden laptop details. Let me tell me now. Yeah, there's tons of that. Yeah, this is meant to drive up the fear in their base to get them to go. The only thing that this fall that they think is going to make people show up at the polls, because Trump has been driving them away with his fucking election talk, and they know they're going to have a muted electorate, because everybody does during a midterm. It always goes down. But the Republicans are concerned that their numbers are going to go down even further, because on the one hand, they have lost right-leaning independents with this Roe v. Wade bullshit. And so they're not going to be motivated to come out in big numbers like they would be for Republicans. So if they vote, they may end up voting more Democratic, or for somebody who's like a conservative Dem in their area who is pro-life but pro-choice at the same time. But they need something that scares the rat fuck out of these people so that they will show up to vote. And the fear of a brown army is the big one. Oh, I hit 38K? That's a good way to end on it. Look at that. Right on. Did we hit it right as I was talking? That's wonderful. Hold on. I'm going to YouTube, and I'm going to my page, and I'm going to look at the studio, and then thing, and we hit, hurrah! 38,028. Look at that. We cleared the number right away. That's beautiful. And we've got 600 members. People becoming members on YouTube. That's huge too. I've not seen that one. That's a new piece of, whoops, okay. I tried to look at a thing, and it went, oops, wrong. Something went wrong. But yeah, so let's see. View my channel on YouTube. There it is. 38K. Look at that. Look at that, kids. I know. I gotta plan a big party for 50 or something. Maybe we can do it by my birthday. I doubt it, but we'll try. 28 during this chat. I think that's all the Dragonfly Hal's gonna get rich and forget about us. I don't think so. I'm a long way from that. And again, that's the great thing about being a comic, man. Comedians are blue-collar artists more than any other art form. You can't get in an ivory tower and still be a worthwhile comedian, because you will not have any relatable jokes. You will not be, what? It happens. It happens when comics get rich and move up into movie star status. Sometimes they run out of shit to talk about because none of it's relatable. They have to talk about like pop culture shit because they watch the same TV shows you do. They just do it from their fucking Kardashian white couches in their immaculate rooms. That's never going to be a problem. That's one of the problems my agent has with me, is that as much as he thinks I have the potential for being a big movie star, and I will be, I will still also be that comedian who thinks it's funny to pull out a fart gun every so often and talk to people about politics, even if it loses me, generic viewers. So, I'll keep doing Stephanie. You got me, man. Thank you, Pace. I will, as long as she'll have me. Stay poor, young comics. Stay poor. You don't have to stay poor. You just got to get your own groceries. You got to drive your own car. You got to take public transportation. You got to eat in both nice fast food and mid-level restaurants. You got to cook your own food. You got to go skiing and jogging and go for a walk and, read books outside your normal, what things that would normally interest you, just to keep your brain sharp with alternative viewpoints. Because that's what you need. Comics have an obtuse, I would say not quite parallel, not quite perpendicular, but an off-kilter view of human interaction. You have to keep that. And yes, I do have real followers. That's true. The trolls show themselves out right away. That's true. Thank you so much, 5 Eggs. Thanks, everybody, for being here for the show. And thanks to Bongino for being consistently fucking stupid enough to give us so much entertainment. It's been great. It's so nice of him to join with us. I don't know how else. Let me see if I have, is there a, I think I probably have this in here. Hold on. I've got a, where is it? Do I have, no, I don't have a, do I have a, nope, that's not right. What's a good one for his face? That's pretty close. Here it is. I want to thank, let's give it up for Dan Bongino, just Bongholio looking for TP for his bunghole. You cannot go wrong. If we really want to see the dumbest take on an idea, he's always there for us. It's very reassuring. And thankfully, he doesn't know how to work a laptop, so we don't have to watch him like Ben Shapiro staring at a laptop at a desk. It's just it's a lovely, lovely thing. So thanks again, Bongholio, and a big thank you to Trump's wig, which blows by sometimes if he gets a little carried away. And to the rest of you guys, thank you guys for joining me. And remember, there is nothing to fear, including fear itself. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the regular show. I will be on at the regular time tomorrow, not later. I'll be on at 3 p.m., our regular time, but earlier, regular other days, but not the Thursday regular day, for about another week. And then things get shuffled around again, back to the 5 o'clock, 3 o'clock shuffle. Anyways, you guys are wonderful. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. And I will see you guys tomorrow.